Hi, I'm Sunil Manji, Senior Principal Solution Architect at Elastic. Today I'll be discussing how to integrate Elastic APM with your Azure App Service. Let's start with the architecture. So you have a containerized app and you want to orchestrate or send data or capture it through Elastic APM agent. The easiest way, and in my opinion the non-invasive way of doing this, is by simply mounting the Elastic APM agent with your containerized app. Azure does a great way of being able to elevate the storage account and the storage container so that your application can recognize the mount and use the file system within your application. So definitely a non-invasive approach. If you're interested in replicating this demonstration, I'm giving you the assets here of what you'll need. You'll need an Azure account and create a storage container. And within that storage container, the reason why we do this is again because we're mounting, we're going to mount within our Docker application, and we're going to host our APM agent within that container. The instructions on how to create a mount, super simple, and I won't duplicate it because the Azure folks have done a great job. Here's a tiny URL to that video. It'll just take you a few minutes to get that going. And then you'll have an Elastic service. Within the Elastic service, you'll need the Elastic APM URL, the token, and the jar, and I'll explain how to get that. In Elastic, we'll be using the Docker Hub app, Pet Clinic, just makes it easy. But this could be virtually any Docker application, Java Docker application, bootstrapping itself, the agent bootstrapping itself non-invasively, and then sending APM data over to Elastic service. Here's a little details about the mount. I create a screenshot because it has some information I don't want to share with the public excuse me. And here I have the configurations within your app service. You have configurations, and then you go to path mappings. And then over here you can call it whatever you want, right? I called it sun mount, and then obviously you have your storage account, and then your storage container. What's important, why I'm calling this out is I call my mount path dash jars, and you'll see how I use this, but it's important that you name it something and you will leverage it in the next steps. So let's go to our Elastic Search Service instance and download the jar. So you go to your home page here in Kibana, go to Add Integrations, Elastic APM. You scroll down to Java, and you'll see here that it says download the agent jar from Maven Central. I'll open that up, and you simply download that. Now that you have your agent downloaded, the next step is, again, I'm showing a screenshot because I don't want to share this private information. You'll need the Java agent bootstrap commands. So you see here that you have the Java agent, which is pointing to your jar, and I'll show you how to use this within your Azure App Service. And you have your URL, which you fetch from here, and your environment name, your packages, and then finally your application. In order to bootstrap this or mount this properly, you'll need to set the Java tool options. Here's an example. This is one string, right? And just for demonstration or clarity purposes, put on a slide here. But you have Java tool options, and you'll say Java agent and your mount path. Remember, I called mine dash jars, and then where your agent is. You have to upload your agent to the container, to the Azure container, under jars. The dash jars, which is what I named mine. Then you just call it your app name, call it whatever you like, your Elastic APM URL. This is what we found on the previous screenshot. Your token, your environment name, production, development, sandbox, and then the packages, whatever packages you plan to capture for APM, like org.example, whatever it is, and you can comma separate them. So in my example, what I have is Java tool options. You notice how I named my mount point jars. And I'll show you a way of validating that in fact the jar is available. Show a cool tool that's Kudu, that available within Azure. And that's where the jar is. And then my URL, my token, and my environment name. Pretty simple. And the package that we're using is org Spring Framework. So now I'm in my Azure app. I'm going to configurations. In order for this to work, you want to add a new application setting by clicking here, creating the argument Java tools options, and then the value. And I'll show you. I'll edit mine here. So Java tool options and then the value here. It's an entire string. I will not show you my entire string because it has the URL to my APM server and the token, but you'll be using your own. It's just one long string. And for completeness sake, I'm also going to show you, clicking on Deployment Center, how I deployed this. So it's a single container using Docker Hub, and I gave it the image which I shared in the deck. That's what we're using, and I'm just going to expose port 8080. Excuse me, port 80. Now that the app is up and running, if you go to the overview page and you click on the URL, you should see this. This is this pet clinic app. Excuse me, the pet clinic app. So I want to validate that the mount point, in fact, is available. So all I do is I add a SCM in between my app name and Azure websites. And you go to bash. And if it worked correctly, I should be able to do ls jars. And you see that, in fact, the mount point is available with my jar. So now that we have the agent bootstrapped to our application, we should start seeing data flow through. So if I go to observability in Kibana, I go to services, I'll see my app, I'll see data flowing through, and then I can click on service map. It's a simple service app, it's a single application, nothing too fancy. But what did I do? What we did today is we orchestrated an application on app services, bootstrapped the Java agent non-invasively, added the Java tool options as an argument, and flowed the data, validated that in fact the jar did mounted to the application itself, and then finally validated that the application APM data did show up in Kibana. Hope this was helpful. Thanks for watching.